I did not realize I was sitting here with an MTV star. I had no idea. I mean, this entire time, I've just been unaware of this, and now, now you know, I need to know.
I'm basically Carson Daly, so I have a smaller head.
DT's Carson Daly right here with us today. Wow, friend zone. Okay, I am going to look this up. Have you talked to her since?
Yeah. We weren't friends for a while. We didn't talk for a very long time.
The revelations.
But now we're good. We're all good.
There needs to be a whole series of what's said on DT Live before the cameras start rolling. Hello, everyone. This is Digital Trends Live. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's Friday, and we are here to bring you all of the trending tech stories and interviews for this day. And we're broadcasting live, like I said, and we're across all these different platforms that we're on: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. So wherever you're finding us, drop in your comments and questions. We can absolutely address those, talk to those as we go through the show. And let's kind of give you a rundown of what we're going to be talking about today, who's going to be on the show. We've got Brian Solis, an author who's going to be on here shortly, talking about his book, Lifescale. And then we're going to be having Rick Marshall, one of our DT entertainment editors, to talk about his series of articles about visual special effects for the Oscars. So there's 5 nominees, and he went into really big detail about each one of those. So we're going to talk about that, some of the cool things that are happening there. And we've got Parker Hall, who's going to be in here for our challenge, Galaxy Buds versus Apple AirPods. We've got both of them in here. He's going to go through each, talk about the benefits, the what works for each one, and we'll be talking about those here shortly. But right now, I'm Greg Nibbler here in studio with Riley Wynn. Hello, Riley.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
MTV's DT's Carson Daly right here with us.
That's me.
Joining us every day. Riley, thank you for hopping in here. It's
Thanks
awesome.
for having me.
Okay, let's talk about some tech headlines. So I think the biggest thing that we can bring up right now, and this is kind of the big trending story, is what's going to be happening next week, early next week, and kind of over this weekend in Barcelona. And that is the mobile, thank you for saying it correctly, the Mobile World Congress, Mobile World Congress, which is MWC, taking place in Barcelona this weekend. That's kind of it's the biggest mobile technology event in the world.
Yeah, all the stuff at CES is really, like, all the mobile brands really don't do much at CES. And they save it for Mobile World Congress, except Samsung. They kind of do their own thing.
Yeah, Samsung kind of jumped the gun on that.
And Apple.
And Apple. They both are not getting there.
The big guys don't have to play by the rules, I guess. But yeah, so everyone's going to be broadcasting and displaying their new phones, new technology. And 5G is going to be everywhere. 5G is going to be huge, and we wanted to kind of give just a little bit of a preview of some of the things we think may be happening, because one of the cool things about this is you will get some surprises. You'll see some new phones, some new concepts that we may not have thought about before, and we've got a whole article at Digital Trends kind of running down a lot of that. One big thing, LG released a video kind of teasing what they're going to be announcing. We don't know exactly what the phone is. They actually, so far, their leaks have been pretty contained compared to Samsung. I mean, let's be honest, Samsung had a lot of leaks. This one, though, we think maybe it's the LG G8 ThinQ. Is that how you say that? I always forget how. I don't know if it's ThinQ or Think.
I know. I always mess that up. But anyway, we've got that could be what the phone is that they're going to announce, and they're talking about goodbye touch, to where possibly this could be the kind of phone where you would just have gestures, gesture control, things like that. That
would be pretty cool.
That would be cool. I would be down with that, although I feel like anybody else can kind of mess with your phone at any time.
Yeah, and it might be kind of finicky if that is the actual thing that they end up doing.
Yeah.
Just like going like this to turn on your phone or something. Like, that's pretty cool. I would say open sesame every time.
It would also kind of look weird just seeing somebody, you know, when you're in the bus or something like that, and they're making magic. Yeah, it would look a little weird, but the idea is cool, the tech behind that. So that's something we may see with LG. We've also got Google maybe announcing a mid-range of their Pixel phones, which, you know, on the outset that doesn't sound that cool, but actually it kind of is, because Google's only had really the high-end Pixel phones. If they can start bringing those down to, you know, mid-range, maybe less than the $700, $800 phones, more down to my price range, which is lower than that, that would be nice.
But I honestly think they don't need to do that.
Do you think they shouldn't?
I think they should stay at the, you know, try to keep it at the price point. Don't try to raise it, because everyone else is raising their prices.
Yeah.
Everyone is just getting more and more expensive. So if they can continue to make the quality at the same price, why dumb down the tech when your phone's already cheaper than the other comparable phones?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I guess if that's what you want to do, I mean, stick with that marketing strategy.
Yeah, no, I mean, they probably know what they're doing. They're Google. Yeah. I'm just me. But that's what I do. I mean, but
I mean,
we'll see.
You've got a point because the prices are not going down really.
Yeah, they're going up like
phones.
a lot.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with that. So just kind of walking through some of the things we think may happen at Mobile World Congress. And we'll have an entire team over there in Barcelona reporting live and keeping you up to date on all this. But some of the other things, Huawei, which, we're not going to see a lot of their phones here in the US, but Huawei has confirmed it's going to show off a 5G capable device with a foldable screen. So we just had Samsung with their foldable. Now, apparently, Huawei is going to try to up them one, be like, not only is it a 5G phone, but it's foldable as well, and that's supposedly what they're going to be announcing.
Yeah, this is like, it feels like the space race, essentially, but everyone's trying to get a foldable phone to market first. The
foldable phone thing is really, really big, and for those of you watching, are you excited about this foldable phone trend, these foldable phones? I mean, ignore the price because the price is going to be ridiculous. It's $1,980 for the Samsung one, which is going to put it out of a lot of people's price range.
Yeah.
But ignoring that part, is that kind of technology exciting? Do you want a phone that's going to fold open like that, even though it's going to be pretty thick, in your pocket? Or is this just something that you're not really that interested in?
Yeah.
What about you?
We talked, I think it was a few weeks ago about when, we were starting to get the leaks of the Samsung foldable phone and what it was going to look like. And I remember specifically saying that the renderings they had, I thought they were very generous with how thin it was going to be.
Right.
And when we saw it in person, it literally looks like the NV1. I don't know if you remember that phone. It was the one that folded out and it had a full keyboard.
Yeah.
It looks about the same thickness once we saw that. Just instead of having a keyboard now, Samsung has the foldable screen.
Yeah.
I mean, the demonstration was really cool.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. Like
it is. I like the idea.
Awesome.
You have one app running right there, or Maps or something, and you open it up, and you've got a bigger map.
Yeah.
Past that, I don't know what else. But
yeah, past that, I don't really see the use for it. I mean, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
But like, is it practical? No.
Right.
I don't think so.
I think a lot of what's going to have to happen is just seeing more applications. Like, what is some of the software that's going to come out for it? What are companies developing? Because I don't feel like we got a lot of that from that Samsung event. And we're not going to get a lot more from them probably at MWC because they're not going to be there. But all these other companies are coming out with foldable phones too, which means a lot of these have been working with software developers. I know Google's been working with Samsung. We'll see. Maybe there's more to be revealed.
Yeah, and maybe these other brands, since everyone is competing to be the first one, they'll try these different quirky things, different technologies to make it stand out compared to the Samsung, Huawei, what's the other one, Honor?
Honor, I believe.
Honor has another one.
Yeah, there's. I mean, everybody's.
Or no, Royal FlexPi.
Well, there's Royal FlexPi. That one's already out.
Yeah.
LG was talking about it. I don't know if they're going to reveal one or not, but
so
everybody's working on one.
Yeah, I hope they get different with what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And they're just not all carbon copies of each other, just with different brand names on them. But we'll see. I think it's a cool technology. Do I think it's practical? I do not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's kind of where it's at. So the foldable phones, we will be seeing more of those. And again, just kind of walking through some of what we'll see at MWC, which is this weekend in Barcelona and into next week. So we'll be having some live reports from there. Actually, on Monday, Julian Chokatu's going to be live from Barcelona with us here. That's what's so much fun about this show.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. So we'll have him on the air talking about everything that he's seen from there, and let us know, what you're excited about. Like I said, we're broadcasting live across a number of platforms right now. And shout out to Kamal and Ross on LinkedIn. And we've got everybody in all these different aspects here. Keelan, Alexander, Avelino. Keelan's always there, probably saying something mean to me at some point. Avelino says, why don't you offer tickets to MWC in Barcelona? I mean, I'd be down for that too. I kind of want tickets myself. But
that would be an interesting raffle to do.
If I trip to Barcelona?
Yeah.
And then I would have to go with them, though. That's the problem.
No, but me.
Oh, dang it. Right. DT's Carson Daly would go. Well, somebody else who's going to be over there in Barcelona is someone we have to give a very special shout out to. And that is our editor-in-chief, Jeremy Kaplan, because he's not only going to be over there, he's also going to be there on his birthday, which is this Sunday. And I believe it's Sunday is his birthday. And Jeremy, he's a special guy. We all love him here, but he's entering into a different kind of age demographic. He's transitioning over into a new phase of life.
Harsh.
And Jake, here behind the scenes, was able to actually get a picture of what Jeremy's phone is right now. And, you know, I know he was really excited about finding about some more big button phones as he transitions into this, you know, new demographic. We can see there, you know, he's got his hot button for Nick Moke's on there. We got Ian Bell, Dan. There's also, I believe, something
AARP.
for the AARP, the IHOP, you know, because you got to start supper a lot earlier now for his age.
That's right. Oh, my goodness.
So
that is too good.
His 4 o'clock, you know, special suppers.
I don't need a fold in my phone. Like,
I just want to see the buttons. And then, yeah, it looks like he was calling the VCR tech support.
Oh, man.
I think the tape got stuck in there again.
Must got stuck.
Yeah, so.
Stop, rewind.
So, Jeremy, happy birthday. We'll see if we get another DT Live after I just did that. All right. All right, let's do some read 'em and weep. Let's read the comments right here. This is one of the things we do love doing here at Digital Trends is no matter where you post across our many platforms and our videos and our articles that we put up, we do read the comments. And sometimes we even comment back. So this is our section where we take a look at a few different ones that have kind of popped up over the last day or so, I would say usually it is.
Yeah.
But I never know what they are until we go live here. So we got Julian, how 5G, if it's 5G, how 5G will change your smartphone and your life in 2019. I can finally play Minecraft with my friends. Okay. Are you a Minecraft player?
No, I've never been a Minecraft player.
I am not either. I can say, yeah, I am definitely not. I find Minecraft, it's not my favorite thing.
I mean, it's like video game
But
Legos.
I know it's popular.
It's like video game Legos. I was a big Lego guy as a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially what it is.
Video game Legos.
That's what it is.
There it is.
But this comment right now, I have no idea what it means.
I think what he's referencing is just the fact that it's going to be very fast.
Oh.
Yeah, the connectivity is going to be very, very fast once we get 5G. And so Julian's excited to play Minecraft with his friends.
Hey, do your thing. Do your thing.
It's video game Legos. All right. So that's Julian. That was on YouTube. We got Olly regarding Nova Meat's 3D printed steak looks gross, but it could save the planet. Okay, what's wrong with just eating rice, peas, and seaweed without processing them into a pile of disappointment and misery? All right. I feel like I had to get a little angry at the end.
Yeah, that was a very angry message.
Olly, yeah. I mean, you know, I don't know what you have against that, but you don't have to eat it, I think is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, rice, peas, and seaweed. Who actually eats all three of those things, like, consistently? But people eat steak all the time. Like,
it's true.
If it looks like a steak, I'm probably going to try it.
Yeah.
And maybe if I find out it's peas, rice, and seaweed, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm not finishing this. But come on.
Yeah.
It's like that episode of Parks and Rec when Ron Swanson and Chris Traeger are having a burger off, and Chris Traeger makes like this fancy like tofu burger and everything like this, and then Ron Swanson just gets like a burger from this like Walmart, and everyone tries it and like they try the tofu, it's like, oh, it's amazing, it's got all these different flavors, and then they eat the meat and they're like, oh yeah, this is way better. It's like that's what it's like.
Well, Olly is certainly not going to be trying it out. So Olly, you don't have to. It's okay.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to force you to. All right. The Thechainlard regarding
Thechainlard?
The Samsung Galaxy Watch Active is the right size for you. I'm surprised with a British accent. You mentioned the price in USD and euros, but not GBP, not in pounds. Where's your loyalty to the Queen? Oh wow. Andy Boxall getting called out right there.
Fired.
That is definitely something that will need to be addressed. I wish we could get Andy's response to this.
I would love to hear his response.
I mean, the Queen is going to be quite upset about this video. I can tell you that.
Sir Andy Boxall.
Yes. Sir Andy Boxall, who was retweeted like, I don't know, 20,000 times or something.
He killed the Samsung Unpacked event.
Yeah. So follow Andy Boxall on Twitter, and you can definitely confront him about his loyalty to the Queen. I think that's definitely something we have to get to the bottom of. Taking a look here just really quick on LinkedIn, I just saw Bonnie refer to if a foldable phone was price comparable with a standard phone, I'd definitely prefer it. But I don't think I'd pay $2,000 for it, and then said, no, strike that. I definitely wouldn't pay $2,000 for it. I agree. All right, Patrick Van Domelin. That's a cool name. All right, regarding Samsung Galaxy's Fold, everything you need to know. Sorry, Samsung, this is nothing new. Let's not forget that Apple had the first foldable phone a few years ago with the iPhone 6.
Bang! That's a burn right there.
Tell me.
Do you not remember?
No.
So the iPhone 6 when it first came out, it was so thin it would bend in people's pockets.
Oh, that's right. Now I know where you're going with it.
Oh man, that's like a going back like 5 years burn.
It's a deep.
That's a good one,
it's
Patrick.
A deep cut. Deep
Dang.
cut. Patrick Van Domelin. There we go. All right, destroyed.
Petty level 100 for that guy. Dang. Good
Petty
job.
level 100. All right, Patrick, nice one. That was on Facebook. All right, we got Omar Reyes regarding this ridiculous flamethrower makes Elon Musk look like a lighter. Because nothing says America like a flamethrower that can shoot a 100 10-foot fireball and bought on the internet. God help us. Yeah, you're right, although it does look fun. Did you get to shoot it?
No, so I just saw the video for this yesterday. This thing is insane.
Like, it's not like his boring flamethrower?
So it's not that. It's a different flamethrower. I believe it's Torch Flame, or Flame Torch is actually the company.
Okay.
And it makes his look like a little kitty toy. Like, it makes it look like a lighter.
But it's another one you can actually just buy?
You can buy it, and it shoots 110 feet of flame.
There is a bad story that's going to come down the line from all of these flamethrowers, but I'm not going to lie, I kind of want to shoot.
It looks like every flamethrower scene from like a Vietnam War movie. Like, just like picture like any Vietnam War movie when someone's shooting a flamethrower, and this looks exactly like that.
And this is just for everyday use.
And this is just for fun.
Just for fun. Yeah, harmless backyard fun.
Yeah.
Well, there it is. So now I'm going to have to watch that video.
It's pretty intense.
And I do kind of want one. All right, let's get to a couple of news stories here before we're going to be having Brian Solis on, and then a little bit later than that, Rick Marshall also joining us. So another trending story today has to do with Google. And it's not a good one for them. So it's their Nest Secure, the Nest Secure, which is kind of the security home hub idea, is in a lot of trouble. So they're in a lot of trouble for this because apparently they had a microphone that was placed in there and they didn't tell anybody about it.
Yeah.
So there's some different advocacy. There's actually a privacy group that's calling on the FTC asking that Alphabet or Google has to divest their interest from Nest in accordance with this. So what happened is, you know, these Nest Secure systems have been out for a long time, and then all of a sudden they turned on Google Assistant and made that activate in there. And everybody's like, okay, that's great. Wait a minute. How can you just turn that on? Because there was a microphone hidden in there, and there was no information on the box, no information in anywhere that this microphone was on there. Nobody knew except Google.
Yeah. The thing yes, I don't like this, that there was a hidden microphone.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, you're like, hey, Google Assistant's on this now. It's not like it didn't seem like they were hiding it, if that makes sense. Like, yes, they didn't advertise it in the paperwork with the device, didn't, advertise it when they were trying to sell the device.
Yeah.
But
do you think it's just an oversight?
I mean, no, I don't think it's an oversight, because when you're a company that big, you can't have oversights like that.
And that's what I'm thinking. I mean, there's so many people that had to go through.
Yes.
I mean, imagine, I can't even what it takes to get a product out from Google.
Yeah.
I mean, how many hundreds of people
have their eyeballs and their fingers in it. Yeah, I don't know. But like at the same time, it's like they're like, oh, hey, we've got this new cool feature, and they're like, and everyone's like, wait, how do we have that? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's hard to say because.
Do you think it was really just an oversight? Because that's what Google is saying.
It can't be, though.
Is that we just made a mistake? Sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, I like where their head's at. I think they're going the right way about it. But
whoops.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, if you have any device that is connected or, is on a Wi-Fi system or anything, it's listening to you. It's tracking you. It's going to feed you everything you want, all your interests. Don't be shocked when this kind of stuff happens. Like it still baffles me. People are shocked and outraged by this.
I think there's two things. I mean, one, we're pretty hypersensitive right now about security issues, and rightfully so. I mean, there's a lot of shady things that have gone on with companies, and there's no doubt about that. This, I think, just feeds right into that.
It does.
So everybody's already pretty sensitive about security. And again, rightfully so. And then you add in like, okay, our worst fears. Yes, you've got a listening device in there the entire time. I see that. The other side I do see is what you're saying in that, yeah, didn't you kind of assume there was going to be one in there?
Yeah.
You can always unplug it. You don't have to use that kind of system. But yeah, I guess I wouldn't be that shocked by it if all of a sudden that was turned in there.
Yeah, I don't own a Nest, but if I did and I had heard that announcement, I'd been like, oh, shocker.
Yeah.
I feel shocked, Cotton. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the big issue there is just the disclosure. Just that they didn't do it, because then it's like, okay, if you didn't do that, what else are you not disclosing? And then you're saying you're not listening.
It opens
up a lot of possibilities. So
that makes sense.
That's going to be an ongoing issue. So you can read about that at digitaltrends.com. You can go there and kind of follow along with that story, and we'll see how it unfolds. I highly doubt the FTC is going to divulge their interests, but still. We'll see what happens. Something else that was trending in the news that we want to get to here before we have our interview coming up here in a minute is Apple in the news for the iCar again. Only it's not the iCar this time. So we know that Apple has been working on something called Project Titan for a long time, but not a lot of information gets leaked out about it. But it's their essentially they're working on getting into the automaking business, whether it's making a car or making autonomous software along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm pretty excited about this.
Well, this is what the speculation is. So some news is leaked out from Germany's Manager magazine. It's kind of a boring title for a magazine, but Manager magazine.
Somehow I manage? That'd be way better.
There we go. So Germany's Manager magazine learned from insiders working on the project that Apple has started building prototypes of its upcoming vehicle. And it's not a car, it's a van. A van is what they're working on, and which is not something that we've heard a lot of companies working on. We know a lot of companies are working on their own vehicles or autonomous vehicles, but not necessarily a van.
Yeah, and like they were very specific to that. They were talking about like utility vans compared to like a minivan.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very interesting, and it kind of makes sense.
Right.
I mean, it allows for more profit because if it's a ride-sharing thing that they end up doing, it allows for more people to share that ride. Right. So more people in one car means more money.
Yeah. Safer.
Yeah, safer. It's safer.
Than a lot of the
I actually drove.
These are the. This was on an article that we had from a while ago of people with their own renderings of what an iCar would look like. So that's what we're seeing right there.
That's pretty awesome. But yeah, I actually drove a van in high school, like a utility van.
Yeah.
And
that was your car?
Literally.
I bet you were popular. You probably had a lot of people that wanted to ride with you.
Oh, so many people want to ride with me. Dang. I gotta stop myself right there. Yeah, no.
That's how you get friend zoned.
The big thing with it was, right turns were tough. Because
that's not what I expected you to say.
Right turns are tough.
Okay, right turns are tough.
You have to kind of whip out and then turn right so you don't tip over, and that's kind of one thing that we talked about in the article.
How fast were you going?
No, it's not fast. Like a normal speed. It's like something you have to do in those type of vans that are top heavy. Yeah. But with this one, with all the hardware that it's going to have in the like chassis and everything below, it's going to weigh that down. It'll make it safer. Right. I think it's awesome that they're like in the Manager magazine, they talked about partnering up with VW. They mentioned Mercedes and some other ones that have like those Sprinter vans. Yeah. I think VW would be the most on brand for Apple.
Yeah, and it's not 100% that who they are. Yeah, it references a passenger carrying, a van like Volkswagen. Yeah. But we don't know exactly who it is.
It would be very awesome to see them do an old school Bug or an old school
Apple Bug
or the bus.
The iBus. Yeah.
That would be really cool. Do it with the VW bus. Yeah. Like, that would be so on brand, because, like, I mean, Apple had those awesome iMacs in the mid-2000s with all the different colors.
Have it look like that.
VW is a very, like, bright brand that like to do things differently, and so I think that would be a really good partnership for them compared to, like, Mercedes. Mercedes, it doesn't seem like Apple and Mercedes are, like, the same, like...
Well, premium brands.
They are premium brands, but, like, the way they approach premium, I would say, is different. Yeah. Apple's trying to get everyone to become premium, and I think... Mercedes is more of like, there's a barrier of entry that they want to keep.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And so I just think it'd be a really fun partnership. I think that both of their marketing teams could do some really fun stuff.
Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe they will team up. That's definitely something they're working on. They did make a statement about their autonomous software that they're working on, because they are testing that out, and it's public knowledge because California actually reports that if they're on their highways. They apparently are at the very bottom of the list as far as efficiency in it. Efficiency being whether or not their autonomous software cuts out and has to have a human take over. But they did make a statement. They're like, we're not in a rush for this. We want to make sure everything is safe. So I think they're kind of taking the opposite approach of Uber, maybe.
Yeah,
which
trying to
is
get
just
it
like
out there
rushing to get it out right away, and then you have incidents that happen, and they're like, nah, we're going to let this just roll out on its own.
Yeah, Apple's actually been doing a pretty good job with Project Titan. They actually laid off quite a few employees and brought on a Tesla head from Tesla. And they're really just going about it nice, slow, and steady. I don't think it's a huge priority for them. Yeah. Just personally, I don't think it's a huge priority. But I like the way they're going about it. They're going slow. They're being methodical compared to Uber and Waymo, who are always in the news for something bad happen.
Yeah, something does happen. And, I mean, there's also thousands of hours where nothing bad happens. But it's that PR battle.
Yeah.
So let's do this. I know we need to go to a break. Riley, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
For joining us here. And you can read all about that story at digitaltrends.com. We're going to go to a quick break, and then we're going to be joined by Brian Solis to talk about his new book. And really excited to do that. We're broadcasting live, so drop in your comments, your questions, if you have any. We will make sure to get those through. I'm back here in just a second with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you, everyone, for joining us wherever you're finding us. We do appreciate that. We're live every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, bringing you tech headlines and great interviews. And our next interview is one of those. So we're going to be joined right now by a digital anthropologist, a speaker, and author of the new book, Lifescale. We've got Brian Solis with us right now. Hello, Brian.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. I love that term, digital anthropologist.
Well, you know, it's something that didn't exist when I started it, but it's certainly necessary.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, just how much we've gone through, through this time, and you've been working with tech companies for a long time. Where did you get your start?
91.
91. So yeah, I'd say that qualifies as a digital anthropologist.
Yes.
Well, and you've worked on so many different things, and this is your 8th book, and this one is called Lifescale, Break Free from Distractions, Focus, Spark Creativity, and Unlock New Possibilities. Let's walk through this. What is Lifescale about? It's your 8th one. What have you found different since this last one, and what inspired you to write this book?
Yeah, look, so my job is really to study disruptive technology and its impact on business and markets. And I was writing another business book, which would have been my 8th book. And somewhere along the way, I found that I had sort of fell victim to all of the technologies I helped cover for the last 20 plus years, and ended up getting completely distracted, had a really difficult time diving deep the way that I had in my previous books, and just felt like something was off, and ended up losing that particular book deal just because of the time and a whole bunch of other things, and ended up writing a book on the path of getting back to focus and breaking distractions and building better routines and behaviors.
I mean, you're right. There's so much to be distracted by now, and it's easy to forget that you even are being distracted. Because you're just constantly, we're on our devices all the time, but it's really hard to tear away from that. What are your suggestions? Like, what did you find that worked for you?
That's the thing, is that it's not a book I even thought I needed, to be honest with you. And I didn't know I was distracted. It's just every day we live life, we're using new tools, new apps, new services, but each one of them in their own way starts to change us, starts to rewire our brains, gets us to think and communicate differently. And I only found out that I had a problem because I had a problem. So what I did was, like anybody else, was Google it. Here's what do you do? And of course, it's the usual helpful things like, practice meditation, mindfulness, get the Calm or Headspace app, maybe take a walk, turn your devices off, turn off your notifications. But those things were just treating the symptoms. And so what the book was putting together essentially a guidebook for what it means to be alive today. What if you can't put your technology down? What, ironically, look, we're live on all kinds of devices now. So it was really a manual for life. So to answer your question, the whole book is basically walking you through sort of rediscovering what's important to you. How do you put that at the center of everything you do when you make decisions, intentional decisions about what technology you're going to use and when and how. And essentially, if you think about it, as a student, as an employee, whatever it is, there is no guidebook to how to balance all of this stuff. We're just sort of figuring it out as you go. And that's really what Lifescale is about. It's about a journey to get us back into balance and to figure out what's important to us. And then also teach us how to be a little bit more creative, especially in an era of machine learning and AI, to find new ways to succeed.
Yeah, that creativity idea that is part of this book, and unlocking possibilities. I mean, let me ask you, like, for your personal experience, what did you find it unlocked?
I'll tell you, there was a couple of things that I found. One was that one of the issues that I had was I was going for the big C creativity, trying to come up with a book and a big idea that was going to change the world. And I realized that actually the little C creativity stuff, just doodling or drawing or writing poetry, whatever it is taking pictures, it starts to unlock a creative side that we all have. One of the things that I talk about in the book was kind of going back to our childhood when we were all artists, and until we were told we weren't, and how we felt and what that did to imagination. And just those patterns or just those routines really start to unlock not just creativity, but all kinds of different ways of thinking and different approaches to solutions. And really, we're getting to the core of what innovation is all about.
That's a really interesting way to look at it. Just thinking about how you can think in different ways, and that's something I think that if we take ourselves away from it a little bit, it probably helps out a lot. But you are also, a tech guy and entrepreneur. So what do you use that you find works? Did you find some apps in this process, or did you find anything that you decided to actually use that was a good influence technology?
Yeah, a bunch of things. One is Things, as managing sort of my master to-do list. I also use a Pomodoro app. There's a whole bunch of them on there that focus you in 25-minute bursts and then gives you 5-minute breaks. I ended up picking up an iPad Pro with the pencil so that I could force myself into just expressing myself artistically. And even though that I'm not an artist in any way, shape, or form, but and then also being really diligent about the things you have to do and using whatever tools that are going to enable that and knocking them out when you're supposed to. Because the more you start to build that discipline of using tools to be productive, the more you are productive. And I will tell you this, I've created Spotify playlists that I'm going to be releasing as part of the book launch that have very curated music with no lyrics, specific types of beats that kind of get you into this rhythm of thinking that I found really successful. And then last but not least, I do use Calm and Headspace to kind of get into the zone. Yeah,
so finding those ones that actually work for you, to help get out of that kind of rut, I guess, that we can get into.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's the key, is that just find what works for you, because there isn't any one solution. I think the key and what I'm hearing in terms of people that are reading the book early on is that as they go through, especially with multitasking, we all multitask, and it's very corrosive in terms of our behavior and our productivity. The more you just start thinking about it and getting acquainted with the downsides or the dark sides of all of these things, even social media and the lure of likes and followers and the constant anxiety we feel to kind of be part of all of this stuff, just opening your eyes around those things really start to put you on the best path, and the tools just become enablers later on.
Looking at it from your broad career, you said 1991 up to now. I mean, you've seen all these tech trends. You've been there and you've lived it. And to this point now, where we are so connected, do you think there's going to be like overall from the maybe the tech community, like a backlash to go back the other way, or is it just going to keep on pushing until people stop using these products?
There's the answer that I would wish I could give, and then there's the reality. I think when Tristan Harris started to essentially reveal all of the design secrets that went into your favorite social networks and your favorite apps and your favorite devices, I thought for sure there would be a backlash. We started, even with things like Cambridge Analytica and Facebook and data hacking and privacy hacking, I thought for sure that these things would sort of get us to wake up and say, wow, we've got to really take control of all of this stuff. But I haven't seen it. I see attempts at people quitting these apps and services only to be back a few days or a few weeks later. So I don't know. I think that's exactly why I wrote this book too, is because I can't stop using these things. I just have to figure out how to manage them more successfully. But to be honest, it's a conversation we all need to think about. These apps are addictive by design. These devices are addictive by design. And even just knowing that is the first step. But like cigarettes or drugs or alcohol or whatever your vice is, you got to figure that out and what's important to you. And at least knowledge and awareness is, I guess, where we could all begin.
That's a great idea, and it sounds like this is, like you said, this is kind of why you wrote this book. And so the book is called Lifescale. Where can people get it?
Well, it's hopefully at a bookstore near you, if you still go to those, and of course Amazon and online. It's available for pre-order now. It's out on March 6th, and it's going to be debuted live at South by Southwest. So I could really use the support, and I think this is sort of that community or that group where we're all in this together to help each other out.
Yeah, and especially, with this audience and this kind of platform, we're all tech people in some way, shape, or form, and I think that having that balance is really important. So, Brian, thank you so much for coming on the show today to talk about this. Pick up Brian's new book, Lifescale, and get it everywhere March 6th.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Brian. All right, so once again, a great interview here on Digital Trends Live, and thank you, everybody, for joining us. We have more On the docket coming up here in just a minute, we're going to be joined by Rick Martial, who's one of our entertainment editors here, and he has an amazing series of articles at digitaltrends.com, kind of chronicling the best visual effects nominees for the Oscars, which are this weekend, and some of the really cool tech that went into each one of those to create these characters and these worlds that we get to see on screen. So we're going to be joined by him. We are broadcasting live across all of our different platforms, so make sure you drop in your comments and questions as we go through. We'll be back in a second with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thanks everyone for joining in. Like we said, live every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And we're very excited to be joined now by Rick Martial, one of our entertainment editors here at DT. Hello, Rick.
Hello, how's it going?
Doing very well. It's always nice to see you. I mean, I'm assuming you're at home because you have, is that all movies behind you?
Those are actually books.
They're books? Whoa.
Yes.
Okay, weird.
Those are books. Mostly comic books, I confess.
No, that's awesome. Well, Rick, your series of articles at Digital Trends are amazing. And this is something that you do every year, is that right?
Yes, the Oscar Effects series has been going on now for, I don't know, 5 years or so. And every year we try to talk to the nominees for visual effects at the Academy Awards and kind of get the scoop on maybe why they were nominated and what special things sort of got them the nomination.
Well, and every year it feels like we advance so much, and to where like you look at a movie 5 years ago, I guess, and compare it to now, and just where we've come in that short amount of time, and it's always amazing just to see how far we've advanced.
Yeah, every year it seems there's just these huge advances in visual effects. The movies that we were making just 3 years ago look almost outdated in comparison to what we're putting out right now, and it's crazy how fast technology moves. But you know, if anyone's going to realize that, it's Digital Trends and the readers there. So we do try to dive into what exactly it is that's been advanced and what made them so special. Well,
let's walk through the nominees. You want to go to maybe Avengers Infinity War first?
Sure. Well, the current favorite for winning the Best Visual Effects category is Avengers Infinity War. And the big thing that set that movie apart from the rest is what they did to create Thanos, the purple behemoth played by Josh Brolin in the film. Required a massive amount of visual effects to sort of give him the sort of pathos and emotion that he really did have. He became this sort of sympathetic villain in some ways, despite the fact that his end goal was to wipe out half the population of the universe. He becomes a sympathetic character because of the massive strides they made in visual effects and basically mapping the emotional beats from Josh Brolin and his performance to this character.
Yeah, I mean, and you're right, because every little nuance on his face is captured, and it does look like Josh Brolin, you know, turned into a giant purple monster.
Yeah, they really did a fantastic job. And also, you know, it's not a one-to-one mapping in a lot of ways, which was a really big deal in this, because you have to sort of get the small subtleties of the performance, but also extrapolated to this massive creature with a big chin and, you know, and who sort of, you know, looms over everyone around him.
Yeah, really amazing stuff. And so you talked to them. We have Avengers Infinity War. You said they're the favorite, but there's also some other really good ones. Maybe you want to talk about First Man?
Yeah, if any film is going to upset Avengers Infinity War, I think it's going to be First Man. It's a sneaky favorite here because the visual effects that were used to create the moon landing scene and all of the scenes leading up to it were really nothing that's ever been used before. Rather than have the external effects for the takeoff, any of the flights, even the moon landing itself, be a thing that was done on a green screen and added later. What they did a lot of the time was to have the actors perform in front of these massive LED screens that basically projected the images that they were seeing on these screens. So then you would have the lights and the shadows and the things reflecting in the astronauts' visors, all sort of in camera. So much of it was done in camera, and that's not something that's usually done. And the other big aspect here was that a lot of archival footage was used from NASA, never before seen NASA footage from these launches that basically had to be blended in with our modern filmmaking techniques. So there was this modern aesthetic that sort of had to be blended in with this archival footage that a lot of times was in completely different formats that aren't even being used anymore because it was just military-grade film. That's
amazing. Not only that, but that they shot these things in front of a giant LED screen. That is not at all how I would have thought that happened.
Just it made so much sense and looks beautiful in there when you see the lighting and the sort of reflections in the visors. That's exactly what the characters were seeing, is what's reflected in the visors.
That's cool. A couple more. We had Ready Player One, which came out so early in the year, I kind of already forgot that would be in this run of them. But yeah, I mean, they created an entire virtual world for this.
Yeah, they really had to create an entire virtual universe. And in my interview with the visual effects supervisor there, it was really interesting because essentially what the visual effects team had to do was to do what was actually happening in this fictional universe. They had to create an entire virtual world that people could immerse themselves in, that the actors could immerse themselves in. And what they did a lot of the time I thought was really groundbreaking was they created these virtual worlds in VR, and they had director Steven Spielberg actually walking around directing scenes in a virtual world, virtual sets.
Wow.
And saying, hey, okay, I don't want to have this, maybe the structure over on this side, and I think it'll help this scene if we don't have a building over there, and sort of directing all of these sort of scenes from within the universe that they had created. And the same thing goes for the actors. It helped the actors' performance, I think, a lot to be inside these worlds and know what they're acting up against.
Do you think we're going to see more of that?
I think so. As VR just becomes so much bigger and so much more, honestly, like mainstream friendly, and the entrance to VR becomes so much lower for filmmakers and things like that. To just do these types of environments is becoming less and less of a huge ordeal.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's it. That barrier to entry. The more people get exposure to VR, because right now the good virtual reality equipment, I mean, it's very expensive. It's hard to actually get used to that. But once that price drops and people start actually experiencing it, they're going to understand this whole new world of entertainment possibilities that are going to be there.
Yes, I agree completely.
Okay, we got two more too. One I didn't think about: Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, Disney's Christopher Robin was basically the surprise of the entire like nominee list. Christopher Robin kind of came out of nowhere, and I talked to the visual effects supervisors on that as well, and they even seemed a little bit surprised. They were very pleased, but they were quite surprised to be in the mix with Avengers: Infinity War and all these sort of. They even mentioned in the interview, they're like, we didn't blow up a planet or do anything like that. We just made teddy bears walk around and talk. And what was really groundbreaking here was the shading technology that they used. They had to develop an entirely new shading system for these characters because they couldn't just replicate what's usually done for live animals with hair and fur and things like that because they weren't alive. But they couldn't do what's normally toys and have them be stiff. They had to kind of make them toys, and they also couldn't have fur all over the place. It couldn't be a standard type of design because these were supposed to be well-loved, well-worn old toys. So they had to really develop something entirely new for Christopher Robin when it came to shading and fur and those types of things.
Once I read your article, that's when I understood, because I was kind of the same way. I'm like, Christopher Robin, okay, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it really is. It's really fascinating. And again, you can check out all of Rick's articles at digitaltrends.com. And the last one that's a nominee is Solo.
Yeah, Star Wars is sort of a perennial inclusion in these lists here. Star Wars always gets nominated for its visual effects. This particular installment of the Star Wars universe was fantastic. I'm not sure if it ranks up there with Infinity War and First Man and Ready Player One and those main things they did here were sort of the next evolution of things they've done in previous films. Some of the cool things that they did, particularly in this film, were the explosion. There's a huge explosion early on in the film that they actually used miniatures for, rather than sort of film an explosion and then create a green screen around it. They actually filmed a miniature explosion in a tank of water and then sort of built that into the film. And it's sort of the reverse of what's usually done. And then they've also did some really creative things for the hyperspeed sort of sequences where they're in the cockpit of Millennium Falcon and it goes forward. They did something similar to First Man, that they had a lot of the effects, the external effects on a screen around the cockpit so that the actors could sort of experience, sliding around in the cockpit and seeing things outside.
Really cool. And the whole series is just fantastic, and thank you for putting so much time into it, because I feel like everybody's learning a lot, and just it makes me that much more excited to go see these movies again now that I know a little bit about behind the scenes and how it's all done. And Rick, so like I said, all of his articles are at digitaltrends.com. Rick's also going to be joining us for our entertainment podcast Between the Streams, which is in just a couple of hours. So 12 p.m. Pacific, we'll be back here live, and we'll go in depth with a little bit more of like actual Oscar talk and bring you up to date with all the entertainment news. But Rick, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on. Looking forward to our next conversation.
Absolutely. All right, Rick Martial right here on Digital Trends. Seriously, go check out those articles. They're really, really fantastic. All at digitaltrends.com. You can read, there's one on all 5 of those films. Definitely check those out. But we need to go to a break, because up next we've got Parker Hall is going to be joining us for our big square-off Galaxy Buds versus Apple AirPods. We've got both of them here in studio, the brand new Galaxy Buds versus the standard Apple AirPods. We're going to see which one is better. We'll walk through it all. If you have questions, now is the time to get those in, and we can ask Parker directly, because he is our expert when it comes to wireless technology, when it comes to these earbuds. So we'll be talking about those, and all while broadcasting live. So like I said, drop those questions in back here in a second with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Wherever you're watching, we really do appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button to make sure you get every episode when we do go live. And right now, it's time for the square off that we've been promising here. I'm Greg Nibbler, here with Parker Hall. Hello, Parker.
Hey, Greg. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, too. So the Galaxy Buds just came out.
Yes.
You have them.
I have them right here.
You have them in hand.
Beautiful pillbox. Magical earbuds.
Of magical earbuds. I mean, and this is the thing. So we've got the Galaxy Buds and we've got the Apple AirPods here. These are probably the two, well, at least the Apple AirPods have kind of been like the standard bearer.
These are by far the most popular true wireless headphones on the market.
Yeah.
They come in this beautiful case. And, you know, they've been selling like hotcakes for Apple, especially, it seems like through last holiday season, they really caught on. So,
I mean, you see the, you know, the T stand shape all over the place.
Yes, yes. Now it's sort of a posh symbol of wealth.
I don't think they don't look that great. But it's the sound that we're talking about. So there's a lot to actually go through here. So let's actually start off maybe talking about that, the shape and the look, because we do have that kind of look. We all know what the Apple AirPods look like.
Yeah.
And Samsung going for a little bit of a different style.
Yeah, so Samsung went for sort of the same style we've seen from Jabra and other industry leaders when it comes to true wireless earbuds. And, they went a little bit more what I would call ergonomic. So where Apple kind of stuck to their guns in terms of this sort of golf tee design, which sort of allowed them to remain a little bit more comfortable because, they fit sort of all of this battery and technology into this bottom T part. Samsung has actually really innovated in terms of their ability to make these a lot more compact, and they just fit in your ears a lot better, I would say, than the AirPods. So they have these silicone ear tips and a silicone ear fin, and when you put them in your ears, they really just stay, I don't know if you can catch that, but they're very sort of flush with your ear, and they stay in your ears quite well.
Yeah, you wouldn't even actually, it's really hard to even see that you have them in.
Yeah. So where you're making a fashion statement sort of by wearing AirPods, or an anti-fashion statement if you don't think they look very good, it's kind of the opposite when it comes to the Samsung buds.
So definitely a different style there. I like that. I mean, and you've tried a lot of these different ones.
Yes.
You've tried all of them, basically.
Pretty much all of the ones that are any good, and many that aren't.
Yeah. And there's a lot of bad ones out there, but you're saying these ones are one of the best fitting ones?
Yeah, so they're significantly smaller than even our previous favorites, which were from Jabra. And, really it's the lightweight combined with the built-in ear fins and the silicone ear tips that makes them just really feel like they're almost not even there.
Wow.
Which is something that we've really been looking for in true wireless headphones, but there's so much tech you have to pack into such a small space that it's been hard to kind of make that work. So, it's really exciting to finally see a product that kind of meets our original maybe expectations when it comes to, headphones with no wires.
Right, what we actually want them to be like.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, the tech that does have to be packed in, because there's a lot.
Yeah.
These things aren't easy to make. There's a reason it's been so long until, we finally start seeing these now.
Yeah.
So let's talk about maybe what tech's inside and what their capabilities are, any latency issues, some of the normal standard things that we have problems with these.
Yeah, so, if you compare the AirPods and the Galaxy Buds, they're actually quite similar. The Galaxy Buds and AirPods both have these sensors on the outside of each earphone so they can determine when they're in your ears. They both pair extremely fast, are very reliable. But where you start to see some of the sort of technological advancements that have happened since Apple first released the AirPods, because, let's remember, these are not a new device. These have been around for some time, and they were quite cutting edge when they first came out. But there's been a lot of innovation when it comes to battery life, and then especially when it comes to sort of app-based integrations in true wireless headphones. So Samsung has added an hour of battery life, which is a fairly significant increase. So you get 6 hours of listening time. Their charging case has wireless charging built in, which is pretty interesting. And you can even charge it off of the new Samsung S10 phones, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty neat, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's kind of the stuff that's come to the fore since Apple released the AirPods. But then also in terms of their app, they allow you to adjust equalization and even pipe in some sound from the outside world. So if you're on a run or riding your bike to work, you can actually hear a car honking at you or a person yelling at you while you're listening to your music, which is a lot sort of safer.
Yeah.
And the other thing that Samsung has added, which has become sort of an essential as far as we're concerned when it comes to true wireless headphones, is they have added an IPX rating. So they are actually sweat-proof. They're not the same like IPX56 or the sort of sand-proof, waterproof, you can swim in them, as we've seen with some of the highest end true wireless headphones, but they do offer an IPX2 rating, which is more than enough to take them on a rainy bike ride or to the gym and really sweat in them, where Apple's AirPods really don't offer any certification of waterproofing. I mean, we know people work out with them in the gym all the time, and they're not like ruining them immediately. But it is, there is some peace of mind that comes with having an official rating saying like, these are good to sweat in, you're not going to break them, and if you do, you know, you can send them back to us.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because that's definitely something I would want, you know.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's really one of the most beautiful things about true wireless headphones is, like, you can pop them in and just go on a run, and there's no wires, you know, banging around everywhere. Yeah,
it's a real pain. So we've got that. Any other thing specific that's different between the two, or stuff that they did the same?
I mean, I would say that they're largely aimed at the same kind of consumer, right?
Yeah.
So they're really looking for people who are trying to cut the cord or who own phones without headphone jacks. I mean, Samsung's phones do still have headphone jacks.
Yeah, and that's something, you know, I was actually kind of surprised that Samsung still.
Yeah, especially with the release of these. Yeah. And that they're, you know, if you're pre-ordering a new Samsung phone, they're actually going to bundle these with, I believe, the Galaxy 10, the 10 Plus, and the Fold. So you'll, you know, if you buy one of those phones pre-order, they will come with these Galaxy Buds. But, you know, in addition, I think another big difference between these two headphones is you know, the retail price. So the AirPods retail for $159. And, you know, for the longest time, that was kind of what we expected to pay for a pair of true wireless headphones that were any good at all.
Yeah.
And, you know, to a large degree, that's still true. But Samsung launched these headphones at $129. And, you know, that $30 difference is actually quite significant when you consider that these have longer battery life, they have sweat proofing, they have a wireless charging case, and they even have better sort of app-based customizations available, you know. So they're sort of undercutting Apple with a better product.
Michael just said, anyone find all of Apple's headphone products really uncomfortable / too large for their ears?
Yeah, so that's the other thing that companies like Samsung are really focused on is that, you know, these are one size is supposed to fit all.
Yeah.
They don't come with silicone ear tips, that you can't change the sort of size of the headphones or the ear fins. I mean, they don't even come with ear fins.
Yeah.
So, you know, these either work for you or they don't. Whereas Samsung comes with a couple different sizes of ear tips, different sizes of ear fin, so you can really find a fit that works better for you.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I'd be surprised if Apple doesn't offer some kind of, you know, ear fin or custom fitting situation for their next AirPods, the AirPods 2, which are coming in, you know, a few months, we hear.
Yeah.
So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how Apple sort of fires back at companies like Samsung, who are really sort of pushing the cutting edge of true wireless headphones.
I mean, it does, because the AirPods came out, when did they, original ones?
I want to say they came out about 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's
or at least they were announced about 2 years ago. And yeah, we've seen them in the market for well over a year.
Yeah.
And you know, they're the industry leaders for a reason. They work great. And at the time when they came out, there really weren't any true wireless headphones on the market that even worked.
Yeah.
So they really were cutting edge at the time. It's just that now with Qualcomm and some other companies developing really awesome chips and it becoming easier and easier to sort of build them in-house yourself like Samsung has, we're starting to see more competition in the market.
Well, and hopefully, you know, when the AirPod 2s do come out, they start to, like you said, like figure out how they're going to fire back at Samsung.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
Adapt some of that stuff, maybe increase the waterproofing.
Yeah, we have heard that they'll probably be waterproof. They'll probably come in multiple colors. They will likely have wireless charging.
I heard something about a heart sensor, maybe.
We're not quite sure. They have been sort of pushing health tech in their watches and other wearables. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how they compete. I mean, I can guess that they're not going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
Because Apple's really, that's not really what they're going for.
Yeah.
And that's fine, you know.
Yeah.
If they're offering a premium product, it's okay to pay the $30 extra. And, you know, even today, I wouldn't, you know, totally criticize someone who purchased AirPods over something like the Galaxy Buds just because they're $30 more.
Right.
Especially if you're an iPhone owner, you still might be considering going with the Apple product just because of the integrations that you get. But still, it's really exciting to see Samsung sort of upping their game and really sort of taking it to the industry leaders when it comes to true wireless headphones. I think it's good for everyone to be able to get a product this good at a lower price because it's going to make other manufacturers start to think twice about where they're pricing their headphones and sort of democratize true wireless headphones for more
pushing
people.
that technology forward, you know, the new stuff with it.
Yeah.
Well, your review is up now, I believe.
Yeah, I have a hands-on review. I'm going to be listening to these even more and taking more notes, and I'll be expanding that as I experience these over the next few days. Obviously, we want to take our time and make sure we don't miss anything in a review.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, so far we're very, very impressed by these headphones. They're some of our favorites. Definitely in terms of comfort, they're easily the most comfortable headphones, true wireless headphones we've worn. And you know, it's just great it's always great to review awesome products. So
fantastic.
Yeah, we're excited about them.
Well, check that out, Parker. Thank you so much for coming on here. Just going to show us the differences between these two.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for having me.
That's Parker Hall, and you can follow all of his articles at Digital Trends, just like everyone else that we've had on today. Because let's kind of rewind just a little bit, kind of walk through what we talked about. And we had Riley Wynn in here earlier today, DT's Carson Daly, as he coined himself now. That's forever going to be it.
I hadn't heard that.
So it was new today. So Riley joining us, kind of talking about some of the big news, and that is, you know, Mobile World Congress is this weekend, and we're going to have the Digital Trends team over there following along with everything that happens, everything else that comes out when it comes to mobile technology. Hopefully we'll see some phones, maybe some innovations kind of pushing it. Even some of the outlier stuff that may not get adopted is always fun and exciting to me, just to see where the possibilities are. And we'll have all of that news up to date for you by following Digital Trends. We also have Brian Solis in here to talk about his book Lifescale, trying to maybe detach a little bit from all of the tech that we're into and remember that life does happen outside of that. So it's a good idea, a good thing to think about. You can check out his book. We had Rick Martial on. Check out his articles on visual special effects for the Oscars coming up. I mean, really, really cool stuff. Just about how some of our favorite movies actually get made and what kind of innovations they have with that. And then, of course, Parker in here talking about the Galaxy Buds versus the Apple AirPods. Coming up next week, well, Monday, actually, Julian Martial, our mobile editor, is going to be live with us from Barcelona. Live from Barcelona here on the show, which happens every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Hit that subscribe button wherever you're finding us. Make sure you do that so that way you get live with us. Thanks to everybody across all the platforms that we're watching. LinkedIn Live, thanks for joining us too. This has been a fun week, and we're excited for next week. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday with more Digital Trends Live.